Hi there, this is Donny Vostok, aka Nev, formerly Nev, and we're continuing the Nev Top 10 countdown. So we're at number 9 on our list, my second least favourite, and it is show number 10. It's my final hour as Nev, and this is called Ruin. This is from 2018. So this is my second least favourite hour. I think this performance is a little off the boil. I actually got some decent reviews for it, and I quite like the first half of the show, but I think on the day of the recording it had gone a little bit off the boil, I think. So it's not my favourite ever. I think what might have happened was the first half of the show is all about sort of the tropes of stand-up comedy, and I'm sort of playing a sort of bitter sort of comedian that thinks he should have been more successful than he was. That's definitely a character, not in any way reflective of my actual personality. So I was playing that up, and I think in Edinburgh it sort of worked okay, because you're in the festival and that's what every show's about, bitter alternative comedians begrudging their lack of success. And I think that show in Edinburgh was done during the afternoon, so you could see light, and the sort of ridiculousness of this was very apparent. Whereas this show, the nature of the recording of it, it's in a basement, and basements aren't typically great for nuance, subtlety. So I think me playing the bitter comedian who was considering quitting, playing up that bitterness, I think the bitterness sort of took over the performance in some ways. So I don't think it sort of worked. And the other problem with the show is that the second half sort of doesn't stick well together. So the first half is about sort of me dismantling the tropes of stand-up comedy, and it's sort of very meta, and then the second half gets a little bit more involved in the politics of offence and offensive comedy, the nature of it, and this, I think so. I don't think it's structurally I'm not into this. And then, so I did want to retire. I wanted to retire Nev as a persona that I was doing on stage. I think I had sort of written myself into a corner, and that was why I wanted to quit doing it. I think there was certain tropes that I would return to, and it was getting exhausting to the actual physical training that goes into playing Nev is exhausting. So I wanted to have a break from that, and I wanted to go do other things. I think I had done all I'd wanted to do with Nev as a stand-up, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to do other creative ventures. So I wanted to a couple of things that I've done since retiring. I've gone on to be a cobbler. More specifically, you know how Daniel Day-Lewis gave up acting to become a cobbler in Italy. What I retired to do is I retired to be a Daniel Day-Lewis impersonator who had. So I was impersonating the period of time where Daniel Day-Lewis had given up acting, so that required me to learn how to cobble shoes. It's not a lucrative market, it's not a lucrative gig, but the people that want to have a Daniel Day-Lewis impersonator, specifically in that period of his life where he was cobbling shoes, they pay good money for it. So I did that for a while, and I think I was a better Daniel Day-Lewis impersonator, or a Daniel Day-Lewis cobbler impersonator, than I was a legitimate cobbler. I can pretend pretty well to be Daniel Day-Lewis cobbling, you know, much as he's a method actor, I researched what cobbling was like, and then I sort of imagined what it would be like to be Daniel Day-Lewis as a cobbler. So that's what I did for a while. And if you're wondering what is Daniel Day-Lewis like as a cobbler, it's a very serious cobbler, takes it very seriously. There's not a lot of fun when you're cobbling shoes pretending to be Daniel Day-Lewis. You know, it's a very intense cobbled shoe that you produce as Daniel Day-Lewis. So that's what I did. I did that for a while. So what would happen was there are agencies that have look-alike agencies and like tribute act agencies. So I signed up for one of those, and I said I'm going to do Daniel Day-Lewis, and they were great. Okay, so you could go to functions and do Abraham Lincoln from Lincoln, or Daniel Plainview from There Will Be Blood. Go to sort of the opening of sort of shops and stuff. You could do that as Daniel Day-Lewis. And I said no. At the moment, I'm concentrating on Daniel Day-Lewis when he was cobbling shoes. And the agency were like, okay, well, fair enough, if that's your specialty, we'll cater to that. But I'm going to be honest with you. There's an opening to Carpet World in Cessnock, and they're looking for Abraham Lincoln from Lincoln, or Daniel Plainview, or the guy in the wheelchair from My Left Foot. You could go to that, and I said, as one of these characters, and then just like cut the ribbon, and then the carpet shop will open. I said no. I'm concentrating on the cobbling of the shoes at the moment. So they said okay, alright. So I didn't get many gigs. I got a few. There was one guy in particular that seemed to be really into it. He would pay, it wasn't a lucrative gig like I was saying, but occasionally you would get the odd gig to cobble dressed as Daniel Day-Lewis in the mid-90s. So what I did was we would meet in this hotel room. He would give me the money, and then I would just get out my cobbling equipment, and I would cobble equipment, and I did it very serious, like you can imagine Daniel Day-Lewis very seriously cobble shoes, and this guy would just watch me, sit on the end of the bed and just watch me cobble shoes. Occasionally I would mutter something about cobbling shoes in Daniel Day-Lewis's accent. I'd do a slight Irish sort of, oh, would you look at these shoes? That sort of thing. I think that's his accent. It's very difficult to track down interviews of Daniel Day-Lewis. Is he Irish, or is he sort of English, Etonian, sort of, oh, I'm cobbling these shoes? Because his actual accent is difficult to pin down. Like, everybody knows what he sounds like in There Will Be Blood. Hello, but you couldn't do that because he didn't cobble shoes as a character. He cobbled shoes as himself, so you have to sort of do his own accent. So I did that for a while. Actually, funny story. One time, I'm cobbling the shoes in this hotel room for this guy, and he paid the money, and then he wanted to get involved. He was like, well, let me cobble the shoes, and he jumped up from bed and he grabbed my wrists, and I shoved him back. No, I cobble the shoes. You don't touch me. I cobble the shoes. You don't. And that to you that might sound like a dangerous profession. You could get jumped or whatever. But if you are cobbling shoes, you have tools at your disposal in case the client gets too involved. So you've got your little, you know, your little hammer for cobbling shoes. You know, like, I don't know if you know about cobbling shoes, but you use do you know, like in the old cobble shops, you see the little plastic guy just tapping the hammer against the sort of anvil thing, you know, for him cobbling the shoes. That's what you go to. So it's very difficult to get an anvil into a hotel room, but you can do it. I had a lot of training as Neb. It was a very physical job, so I'm used to that. So you bring your anvil and your little hammer, and if this fucking guy, if he got, you know, hairy with you, it's like, I want to cobble the shoes, grab your ankles, that sort, grab your, you know, your wrists or your ankles, that sort of thing. You could always go, ho mate, I've got my cobble hammer, so fucking back up. So I didn't do that for long, because, you know, it is frightening when somebody grabs you when you're trying to cobble shoes. So only that was the last time I ever did that. So that's what I did whilst after I retired Nev, and to be honest, I miss stand up a little bit. I think I would like to go back to stand up. Those things that I never did in stand up that I'd like to do. I'd like to do an entire show of dance. That's something I never got to do. I'd like to come back. I think I would do that just as Donny Vostok, you know, my real name, instead of Nev. I'd do a full hour of dance. You know, I actually made a few tap shoes. You know, cobbled some tap shoes together, so I could bring that, and I'd like to do an hour of that. I have an idea for an hour where I do nothing for an hour, like literally nothing, or not literally nothing, but I talk about nothing for an hour. I talk about literal nothing, so I want to do that. I want to do an hour of dance, an hour of nothing. I could do an hour of Danny Day-Lewis cobbling, but that would very much feel like a busman's holiday. You know, I did that, and also I don't want this guy turning up to that gig, you know. So I think I would steer clear of that in the future. So I will return to stand up, but I'm not going to come back as Nev. I would come back and do these little experimental shows, I think. So that's what I'd like to do. Okay, well I managed to avoid talking about that show or that piece altogether, really. It's not my favourite show. I like the material in it, but I think the recording was slightly off the boil, so if I ever do redo any of the old shows, I would redo this one, or at least the first 45 minutes, before it got a bit too preachy and serious, and I would redo Gold. So if Nev's going to come back, I would redo those. So yeah. Right, see you on the next one. Bye bye.